Today I want to talk about all 4 of the solo leveling characters as a whole. I've done this before where I've just stated, is this crossover worth it or not? And this is exactly what we're doing today. Now this is just to give you a general overview. Of course, we'll still have the should you summons and the showcases and all that, but it's just something to kind of brush you up and just give you a general idea on who you should be looking for, what they do, and how they fit into certain teams. So Jinu, he's more so this hybrid support damage dealer, specifically for mono dark allies. If you have Jinu on a mono dark team, he's going to be a very good arch shinner for any other dark ally there. And not to mention, if you can keep the team healthy, he's going to arch shin even more. He's also able to constantly reduce the enemy's physical res, which is very good considering who's all on mono dark. And he has a super art that hits extremely hard. And then let's not forget about his passives. His passives just amplify his damage even more, where if he uses any of his arts, true art, super art, does not matter, he gets a stack of attack. And this stack is equal to 50% of attack, and he can do it all the way up to 500% attack, so 10 stacks in total to get to there. He also has a ratio passive. So like we mentioned before, Jinu is going to be a dark support slash attacker. And unfortunately, he's not like the flagship beginner character. If you are just starting out in the game, I would say he's not the character you want to go for, at least not right out the gate. And it's kind of crazy because he's like the first part of the crossover. Because for mono dark, you really need a few different characters for him. You need Shadow. It probably wouldn't hurt to go someone like Halloween Forte there. And then lastly, you need the new guy, Igris. Igris is the character to go for if you are a beginner or a vet. Igris is a damage reduction character, but also a support unit. Everything in his kit supports. Like his trademark passive, being able to just give everyone on your team 4 arts per second as long as he's existing. Like I said, he does have that damage mitigation with his art being able to give everybody that 30% DR. Leader units get a bit more. And he has that support in his kit, like the Chew art, being able to buff up Dark Allies damage. And he buffs up the leader unit's arts by 300. And then you have this super art that's able to buff up Igris's and the leader's attack by 150% and reduce the enemy's physical res. Literally, this guy is kind of just made to be right alongside Jinu. But what's kind of funny and odd is that Jinu's not necessarily his best partner when it comes to the overall game, because there's so many good dark characters you could run alongside him. And mind you, this type of character, even though he does have just one thing that's about dark allies in his kit, which is the damage, you could really run him anywhere. He's going to hit extremely hard. He's extremely fast, and absolutely out of everybody right now, I'm just going to tell you, Igris is the main prize. Don't let anyone else fool you. Igris is the GOAT from this crossover. For the other 2 characters in this crossover, we have Choi, which I think Choi comes in the first part of the crossover. I may be getting their position mixed up, but I think he's the first part of the crossover. I'm gonna be honest, Choi maybe has something for you to do here. I also don't completely love his kit. So right now, I would say Choi is kind of just in the waiting room, especially for Motto Fire, until we get even more like magic fire supports, because I think the only thing we're missing here is like an actual magic damage mitigation fire character. And once we get something like that, magic fire could possibly be a thing. But on that note as well, dude, there's just so many, and I'm not joking you, there are so many physical damaging characters, because right now it's just overrun with physical damage dealers. In terms of other gimmicks or anything else he has, he can directly buff up any magic comp in the game, so he wouldn't be bad for that, but overall he provides little value to you as a new player. And last but not least is Chaw. Now I would love to tell you that Chaw is like this insane character that is going to come in and do some amazing work for Mono Light. Not really the case. Her entire kit is not necessarily bad, because it is very good against any boss that is dark. If you fight a dark boss, she's actually going to be able to give you 40% DR, which is not bad. Plus, on top of that, you get the 8k barrier no matter what. You have your super art that gives your entire team huge damage buff to everyone, while also giving everybody 50 art gauge. And then if it's not apparent, her entire kit is all about skill CT, since it does directly benefit her skill. So the more skill CT she has, the more art gauge she's going to be able to give to the entire team. So there is something in that. For newer players, I think this character is decent because she is technically a support unit, even though she is giving you support in a bit of a different way than other characters. You're not having to use your arts necessarily to arch shin with her. Get the skill CT online, get the barriers online, constantly art with the skill. If you get a chance to use the super art, pop the super art to give the 50 art gauge to everyone, plus the massive damage up. But as a vet, I think this character is kind of poo-poo. Now it comes to the point to where if I say solo leveling is worth it, or if it is not, or exactly what the deal is. Now, this is just my opinion. Of course, if you are someone that loves solo leveling, this is the reason why you download the game and want to play it, by all means get all the characters from it and have a blast. But if you want to know the overall metagame and kind of like the general verdict, especially for what's coming in the future, Igris is by far the only single reason you summon on this crossover, and it's not even funny. Igris is literally him, and he hard carries this entire crossover because the other characters aren't necessarily bad, but they're kind of whatever. Even with Jinu being able to give you tons of damage and everything else. Now, I will say though, if you do get Igris and you manage to get Jinu on like your first multi or something like that early on in the first banner, Igris kind of completes Jinu. All of Jinu's shortcomings don't really matter when you have Igris beside him. Jinu kind of relies on Igris, but Igris does not rely on Jinu, if that makes sense. As for the other two side characters here, Vets, gonna be honest, you could really skip all of them. Like every single one of them apart from Igris. Igris is the only one you need, especially if you're looking forward to Jane later on. You're gonna want Igris for his team. Igris is gonna be fantastic for Jane's team. Outside of that, this crossover is very much, I wouldn't say dud, but it's just a very middle of the road crossover. It's not insanely broken, it's not insanely bad, but there's some good stuff here, especially if you do wind up getting the Jinu and Igris combo. He's going to look really strong. He's not going to look bad at all. He's going to look like he is dealing insane amounts of damage, and it's going to be a really fun dark team. Me, myself, I'm looking to get Jinu and Igris. Jinu's going to be a fun dark team. I love dark characters, and Igris is going to be fun everywhere, not just dark, but he's going to be able to complete all of the different teams that I want to do in the game, especially a spirit lineup, which I am very interested in doing later on down the line. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Tell me down below what you all think about these 4 characters. Do you like them? Do you not? Are they kind of whatever? Let me know all that type of stuff down below. Also, if you are planning on summoning, tell me who you're most excited for. Oh, and one more thing before you all leave, don't forget to drink water.